Hello everyone. So this is a case of doing topical phaco in NS2 grade cataract. So in cataract surgeries, there are three most important part: uh, rexis, hydro, and on top of that is wound construction. So if you have these three things in perfect, then the cataract surgeries become simple for you. So in this case. Uh, one of the out of the three factors, I had problem in one factor. So I would like to show you this problem. So till now, the staining of the intercapsule was done, and I have also done the rexis of the intercapsule, and now I'm coming with the stop and chop technique. So here everything was fine. The power was around 50 and the vacuum was around 40. I made the trench and I divided it into two parts. Now I for chopping the one of the heavy nucleus, one part, the smaller part, I was doing the chopping, but I forgot to change my mode to chop mode, and I was doing it in emulsify in the sculpt mode. So I was again noticed by my assistant that I was not doing in a chop mode. Then I shifted myself to chop mode, and I was starting doing the chopping of the uh, smaller part. So once the small part chopping is done, now I've decided for going chopping of the larger part, and it was quite well, uh, nicely chopped, and the entire part was emulsified. Now for the last part again, in the last part I changed my position to the epinuclear mode, where power was around 10 and the vacuum was around 320. So after emulsifying the last part in the epinuclear mode, now there's one epinuclear plate was there. So I wanted to uh, take it, but I thought it will damage the PC. So I decided to go for bimanual. I decided to go for, sorry, coaxial irrigation aspiration mode to take out that epinuclear plate. Now this was getting a very challenging for me, because it was the main epinuclear plate. The half of the epinuclear plate was emulsified, but other half was still below the rexis margin, in the subincisional area. So yeah, it was getting difficult to hold its part. So I shifted my foot pedal to the polishing mode, where the vacuum was very less. Then after holding it, the one part of the epinuclear sheet, I then slowly shift again back to the cortex mode, and then I was getting able to uh, aspirate uh, aspirate the epinuclear plate. But still initially I was having problem because it is subincisional. But slowly I was uh, taking that epinuclear plate by shifting back and forth from polishing mode to the cortex mode, and then uh, s- uh, with slow and steady, that epinuclear plate was removed, and I got finally uh, did the final aspiration of the entire cortical material. Then I came to uh, the polish mode, where I was polishing the posterior capsule and also polishing behind the rexis margin. And with the help of the iris repositor, I was retracting the iris to see whether to get a better view of the intercapsule. And then after doing the entire polishing, now it came for insertion of the IOL. So at first I thought I wanted to insert the IOL, but I saw the incision was little small. So that I made a mistake. With the help of 2.8 keratome, I enlarged the wound a bit, without maintaining the triplanar orientation. And at that time I was not thinking that thing, because I wanted to insert the IOL. So after enlarging with 2.8 keratom, I then slowly with wound assisted technique, I inserted the IOL in the bag. And fortunately, it the IOL does went inside the bag, and it was covered well by the rexis margin. So now came for the final polishing and visco removal. So I was so by with the help of rock and roll technique, I was removing the visco. And I again lifted the IOL from the back, and I did visco removal from behind the IOL also, just to get extra protection. But some iris came out during this time, but it was again reposited back with the help of dialer. So final polishing was done, and finally I again to take the iris repositor back, and polishing the remaining visco as much as I can. So yeah, the case was looking very clear to me. Everything was fine. The assistant was about to close the case, but because since I was doing the final polishing, final visco wash, and we were about, and I also told the patient that the OT is over now. I'm closing the case, and he was very excited. But then came the turning point. As I've said earlier in this video, the wound construction is also one of the important part in the cataract surgery. So as I was closing the main incision initially, hydrated the side pockets, then hydrated the middle part, and then I was suspecting the wound was not closed fully. I thought if I hydrate the side ports, then it will close or not. But still, I again so then I started to do the hydration of the side port. So I the hydrate the right side port, and this is the moment where when the case is about to start, the patient gets little irritated. So he started to look little down. So I was repeatedly telling him not to look down, to look at the light, and he was doing as much as full cooperation as he can. So after hydrating the side ports, I thought the wound has been sealed and AC is formed, but still I was suspecting AC is not formed, because still I was when I was pressing the tip, I was watching the ACs become soft, and after hydrating too much on our hydration, the iris came back from the main part. And this is a time when the young surgeons like me becomes really irritated, because everything went so properly fine, and at the last moment, when the wound closing happens, the AC doesn't form. So lots of things comes in our mind. Shall I take suture? Shall I explore the wound? uh, shall I cauterize it? So lots of unknowingly thoughts come, but I was keeping myself cool and calm and doing as much as hydration as possible, because I know one thing I've seen in my fellowship period, sometimes if you do over hydration also, no matter how many stromal opacity comes out, after day one or two, everything goes to normal. uh, so no need to worry about. So that's why I was doing our hydration, and again I was hydrating the side ports. And my assistant was saying that if you do more hydration, then there is a chance of iris can come out again. So, and yeah, he was right. And at this time the patient was also getting irritated, so he was also blinking his eye, and I was repeatedly telling him to be calm, be cool, because in this moment, if any wrong will happen, then I will be in big trouble. So, uh, yeah, it was taking a lot of time for hydrating the main wound. I was again hydrating the side pockets of the main wound again and again to see whether AC is formed or not. And at that moment, I also thought that shall I give air bubble, but my instinct was not telling me to give any air bubble, because since it's a topical phaco, so patient the vision can compromise at day one post op, or the chance of air bubble can go behind the IOL. So I finally somehow did the full hydration, and with the McPherson I was again checking out the wound integrity. So I was feeling it little softer, but then fine, I did the final hydration. And after that, on doing the final hydration of the side port, I took the Johnson bud to see the integrity of the wound, and what I was seeing whether there was leak or not. And fortunately, there was no leak. The wound was cleared, AC was fully formed, and the case was closed, and the patient was fine. Thank you.